going to make this thing organically flow a lot more. Okay, so I'm not UVing or naming things yet because that can get in the way of things. If I decide to combine some of these shapes together to do a deformer or anything like that, then that's going to reset my names anyway. So I'm not really going to worry about that too much. Let's work on blade, and then we'll do the here's the reference. We're gonna do blade next, and then we'll do cap. I might just leave this simple. Who knows? And we also said that there may or may not be some kind of emblem in there. Let me see. I want to see if we have any reference on the end cap on the pummel of this model. And really, okay, so there's probably some kind of extra knot there. There's a little extra knot going on over here in the reference. And it does tie into the pummel cap over there. You can kind of see those emblems in there. It is usually what happens. I don't know if I really want to spend any time on that kind of thing right now, though. It shouldn't be too hard for you to apply. I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to see how fast I can get the rest of this thing done, and we'll see if we have time for it. Because I'd like to get some, I don't know if I'll be able to get any baking done today. We're already at 11 o'clock here. Okay, so the way that blades work, okay, and looking at the reference here, we have some subtle shine and some subtle shapes here that help me see that blade shape. Okay, so I'm going to be using that. I have the reference up on another screen here, but just to give you an idea of what's going on. This Lambert needs to not be blue. Just go back to gray, please. Please and thank you. Alright. Actually, I don't want a sphere. I just need a cylinder. Cylinder to get the job done. And this is like the thickness that I probably want to even go for here. Thickness of the blade, not too bad. Let's because this blade has like a rounded top to it. There's just a subtle roundness that happens up there. So let's start off with that shape, right? I really don't need the bottom of this, so I'm just going to detach this and delete this side here. And let's just extrude the edges of this shape here. I want to get my extrude. I want to get this thing started like this. I don't really need these guys here. Just get that overall blade shape started on the top, and we'll rework things and add extrusion divisions to this later. So the way that we make blades, the way that people make blades is there's like it's a long piece of steel that gets kind of banged down into a sharpened edge like halfway through it. Okay, it's really hard to see with this blade. I'm gonna say that we don't really have much thickness to this blade, something like this right here, because it seems to really like we have this like this long trench that goes down the blade to strengthen it, and it seems to go underneath that cap a little bit too. So there really isn't, like, we don't really get to see that relationship there a lot, and I think that's where the tapering actually starts too. So we're gonna try to do that. We're gonna, now, I'm not sure if we want to do normal maps for that trench or if we want to leave it there. We'll have to take a look at that, okay? So, you know, let me know what you guys think. I want to know what your impressions are here in chat. Should we model this in and leave it on the game res, or just let it be a normal map? I can teach you, you know, I go over floating geometry for some of that stuff most of the time. But since we're approaching the blade this way, we can kind of model it in. But the blade is going to have like a tapering like this that happens. Okay, let me pull the blade over here just a little bit. Make it a little bit longer. I think that's going to be pretty good. Taper just a little bit more. We're going to do another extrusion here. Do just that actual cutting edge. Okay, this is the sharpening part of the blade. We can merge these vertices together now and have that set up. In this situation, I think it's just going to be easier for me to model this in there. So let's do that. Because this is going to work for my stuff here in the cap. So I'm going to take a sphere now. Over here. Get my channel editor open. I don't think I need this much topology. Let's drop this sphere down a little bit. Make it even so I get a straight detail. Yeah, that's too low. I think this works though, because that's kind of the angle we need actually too, right there on that corner. So let's do that. Let's straighten this guy out. Freeze transformation, so I'm working with some flat shapes here. I'm just going to line this shape up really, because I think that's going to work for us better. We don't need this thing to be so big. That's how big the trench kind of is something like that. Maybe, actually, no. I'm looking at a reference here and it's a pretty big gap. We'll set the mark right here. I think this will do. I'm gonna try to get these guys like lined up as close as I can. Actually, let me just line up one and slide the other one around. That'll be a little bit easier. Grab this edge loop here. Let's deny the top ones because that does make a little bit of a mess. Use the slide edge tool and just slide it till I get that angle that I want right there. Perfect. Now I don't need this bottom half here. I only need the top right here. And this is gonna be I don't know, it's a pretty big depression in there. I'm definitely not gonna float it though, is what I'm saying. I don't want to float this shape. I feel like that isn't going to be good. We can choose whether or not to leave this shape in there when we get to it. I definitely don't need this thing to be here. Okay, so now I'm doing like a scale, and it's not doing an even scale for me. So I do need to, I'm gonna use this edge right there to orient it maybe? No? Okay, that made it messy. Maybe this face is centered? Let's just grab this face. Let's get the flatter one here. Flat face. There we go, that's not too bad. Ugh, why? It's definitely not flat, so I think I just let's just manually orient this thing. I'm wasting time. Good enough. I think that's the thickness that I want to go down here in this blade. And if you're very confused watching this, it's okay. You'll see the results that I'm doing here and see where I'm getting at. Because I'm basically going to take this sphere, I'm going to switch it inside out, reverse it, and this is going to be my little trench there. My little trench there, my little trench there. Snap this, get some geometry kind of set up here. And then I can kind of delete this geometry. No. Yeah, I'm just gonna delete it. It'd be better just to snap these things in place here. And actually, I don't need this geometry either. I'm just gonna extrude this shape down. Like this, and that's gonna be my trench. And this is gonna be the end of my trench. So I'm only gonna duplicate these faces here. Let's get some edge loops going upwards first, okay? That's gonna be the important thing. Getting some edges going up, and then getting some edges going sideways. So let's get those edges going up first. I'm just gonna pull them up like this, and then use the scale tool and flatten it out. Minimize it, right? You know what, this is just such a big difference there that I'm really thinking I'm just gonna snap, collapse those edges together, and just flatten this whole thing out. It's not really that big of a difference. We won't be able to see too much of that. There we go. I think that's looking good. Minimize things out. I'm going to put one edge loop in the middle, and we'll snap that stuff together. Something like that right there. I'll mirror this to the other side so I don't have to redo this thing again. Extrude these guys out. And then I'm gonna hit collapse and just make a triangle there. Just grab that vertex and snap it in place. I think that's what I want to do here. And just to secure that selection, I am going to bridge. Ooh. Oh, these are separate shapes still. I gotta combine that together. Just fill in the gaps, okay? Fill in the gaps in. Did I need another edge loop there? What does this thing do? Good to go. I like that better. I don't want to make this excessive, so I'm trying my absolute best here. to not make too much geometry, because that's going to make for a bad high res. Filling holes. Okay, we're attached. We're locked in for that one shape there. And that's pretty much going to be my big depression down the middle of this blade. Let me take a look at the reference here again. I think we need to go a little bit deeper with it still. That's like a really big trench in there. Just grab these guys and do like a soft select. Change the brush size up here. Get this stuff looking good, guys. You want to make sure your decisions are locked in when you do this thing. Let's grab these guys up here, and snap them back in place, kind of thing. And maybe I just grabbed too much of that soft select. Let me just select these guys. Those are the important ones. There we go. Now I don't have to worry about too much of these guys, and they're locked in place. There we go. I think that's going to work better for us there. Thinking though that no, we're just going to leave it. Let's see where this gets us, okay? So now I'm going to grab this edge loop. Oh, what's going on? Why aren't you selecting that? Okay, so that's what's happening. That's fine. Detach components. And I'm going to detach components on this shape as well. Detach this. Because what's going to happen here is I'm just going to grab this shape over here and delete it. Let's separate this guy out so I can do some duplication. And, reverse the scale of it. Oh, I needed to do the same thing on this side. Okay, let me redo this. Because I need to duplicate this guy over here too. So let me just grab these shapes here. Detach and detach. Shift, reverse the scale of it, and just mirror it. Freeze transformations, combine, delete history. We're a little bit off here. It's okay. Just grab those edge loops and scale them in for common ground there. And then that should merge them together pretty good. Everyone doing okay? Any questions on any of this? So now that I have this duplicated, delete history, and now I can use this guy as my little duplicator bot. I'm just going to detach that component there. Actually, I don't even need to duplicate this thing. Let's just do an extrusion, because that way I can do like a taper on this thing. I don't have any detached components here, right? Something. No. What's going on there? Something's gone awry here. There we go. That's a weird one. Maybe these guys aren't snapped in place. There we go. Fill that hole up. Nope, we didn't want to do that. Fill the hole. There we go. And no doubt I'm gonna have to redo that operation on this side, I'm guessing. What happened? And I'm gonna have to redo it on the other side too there because I duplicated it. Sometimes these things happen, it's okay. Clean things up and check things often. If it helps for future that depression is done on the flat side before you start the taper. Yeah, I think so. I think that's something that kind of looks like that. Now, I might even want to like put my holding edges. No. We'll do that later. That'll happen organically. I mean, we can grab this and pull it out a little bit. No harm, no foul. It's not like we have like a blade template that we have to stick to. Just kind of yank it out a little bit like this. Get a little bit more thickness in there before that depression starts. Far. I mean, this is getting kind of covered up here. And if I want to flatten this out again, just do something like this here where we don't really do a soft select. We just grab all these things that were supposed to be flat. Just scale it flat. That doesn't look too great. I think my pivot is still off here. Ooh. Let me see where my pivot is. Yeah, it's custom. I gotta reset my transform to, let's do world. So I want this thing to be 90 degrees with the world there. Am I still rocking? I said world, dude. What don't you understand? I think that's it, though. Just pull it in a little bit and kind of flatten it back out again. Good to go, good to go. Redo that same thing on this side here. Kind of grab those edges and just flatten it out again. Anything that's going to influence the model. We kind of have these guys right here that are telling us where that flat stuff is. So there we go. Now we're flattened back out a little bit more and that depression's starting that way. Cool beans. Okay. But let me try an extrusion now here. History. Extrude this guy out. Oh, wait a minute. We need to make sure that when we do this extrusion that we keep the extrusion tool on. Because then I could set those divisions in there and just kind of make sure that we got, you know, some good divisions in here. I crank this thing up to like, you know, 35 maybe. That'll get the job done. Oh! You did not like that, did you, Lion? Let's see if it saved the temp file for me here. Sad fatal. It should have saved something for me. Maya's not too bad on my computer. It's usually a pretty good girl. No, it's way too fat. There we go. Yeah, I'll take it. Why did my shelf go down? Put you back in there. Alright, cool. We're back. It saved it up, and I'm gonna save it up too. Let's do a 2. Okay. Whoa. That's not the shape that I wanted there, though, brother. It was using some axis stuff there, and I don't like that. Let's try this again. Now that we're all saved up. Hunky-dory here. See, that seems like a better... Still doing the same thing, though. Does offset do the same thing? Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing when I'm pulling down on that. Well, that's sad. Now I can't add those divisions in there the way that I want to. That's okay. We can do the insert edge loop. What would happen if I delete 1/2? I don't know. I'm not certain what would happen if I deleted 1/2, but that would still be a lot more vertice connections that I would want to have to deal with. So I think this is a good loop for us here. I can insert edge loops to this though. Yeah, that would just be too much in my opinion. I wouldn't want to have to suffer through that. We can go to insert edge loop here and do multiple edge loops with an equal multiplier here, and I can just put like 50. And there we go. Just make sure you undo this now. Never want that insert edge loop to just go flipping crazy on you. Okay, so I got like my 50 divisions in there. I just had to use an extra tool. It's a lot better than me trying to snap that stuff together. Because then, you know, if I mirrored this and put those divisions in there, then I would have to have done that. Okay, so I got some length here. Once again, though, I'm keeping this straight. I'm putting some divisions in there just to let me bend this whole thing together. That's what we got here. Actually, like, how long does this depression go as well? Because it does end. I may have taken this a little bit too far. So I can consciously just be like, okay, let's shrink it down to that, right? You know, to start deleting some segments. I think that's a good proportion right there for me to start setting up that blade ending. Just a pinch to grown edge, right? And now, let me just duplicate this guy out here. Freeze transformations, delete history, all that good stuff. We detach component here and just delete all of this because this is all I want to use. Let's bring this back to 0. Slide you on down here to my end. And just flip you upside down. -1. Actually, let's take it a little bit further because it has a little bit of a longer stretch to it. Let's try that out. I think that'll be better. Okay. Even it out as much as you can. Try to get it as close to the vertices as you need. Combine the shapes together. Just grab those vertices and merge them together. Play with that threshold till you get what you want here. Calmly. If I hold control, it becomes a smoother transition. If you're doing if you're doing middle mouse dragging, and you're moving things around, then holding control is going to make that selection and movement of features really smooth. Okay, so just know that it's doing that. All right, so now I got that taper and that ending of that bevel detail right there, or depression, whatever we want to call it. Okay, now we need to point this thing out. Let's take a look at what the katana is doing specifically. I'm seeing like a, here, this is a better one. A little bit of a rounder tip there. I would say it's about a 50% of a sphere. Just kind of guesstimating this, or 50% of a cylinder. So let me grab a cylinder here and just like use it as a reference shape basically, or just start off with it, who knows. We may like the sphere, the cylinder so much that it just grows on us. I'm gonna get this half of the sphere. You don't need the other half. Okay. Shrink her down a little bit here. Now, freeze transformation, because I'm going to put in 0.5, because I think that's what it's doing. Something like this, where it's like a reduction of 50% of the scale there is kind of what I'm seeing with this blade. If you guys want to get some exact numbers on this thing. That's what I feel is happening. Let me know if you feel the same. I don't want to scale it that way, I want to scale it this way. Line this guy up here. So we just get that estimation there that's happening. I think those are the proportions that we're dealing with. Now before I get too far with this stuff too, definitely going to try to reduce this down since we have this stuff going for us. So before I go too far, let's collapse some of this stuff down. That doesn't need to be here. Don't need the rest of this either. So let's detach this guy. Okay. I'm just gonna make this thinner so we have that just internal shape there. but I can still see what I'm doing. Let's just make it a lot thinner. I don't think I'm going to use this. You know what I may do actually here? I'm just going to delete that and use my edge here, because I may be able to use that. That might be something I can use. Let's grab the whole shape here, in fact. Tighten you up just a little bit more. Line you up with this over here. Just kind of set myself up for that bevel that's going to happen. Kind of insert our edge loop. Make this go just a little bit out. Kind of like we're just going to... I didn't center this thing. We're just going to continue this cutting edge, basically. I could put some more edge loops in there to keep it from being too faceted. Now that we're here, just kind of snap this stuff in place. And once again, remember that this is also going to deform with my bend deformer, so know that that's also going to happen. Like a smooth jazz going on here. Why? Change it up. I'm not trying to romance you guys. Well, I don't want anybody falling asleep while they're watching me, so don't get too relaxed. Get pumped. Yeah, a little bit of faceting going on here, so just watch out for that. We may add some extra divisions in here. Let's do that right now, actually, before we get too heavy. I'm gonna hold Shift 2 to help me round that out. Don't work too low, work high, right? Like I've been saying. So I got that shape started there. And we're gonna need to get a taper going to these things too here. So freeze transformation, delete history. And let's combine these shapes. I feel like we're at a good stage for that. If they would select together, thank you. Okay, now they're combined. Should be close enough I could do a merge vertices. No problem. Come on. Whatever. I'm getting impatient, so. There we go. Okay, I think my next step is to get like an extrusion. Actually, let me get a tip going here, because I want this thing to be just a little bit sharper. Kind of guesstimate that edge there. Slightly. I want to try to get like a closer to the height of this thing. Okay, so once again, like this is not This is just the cutting edge of the sword. It's not going to be the overall taper. We're still going to get that in there a little more efficiently. This guy seems kind of pointless. Let's drag this out. Where's my reset that? Not looking too good on some of that stuff there. Okay. Now if I use the shape that if I use this as an extrusion, it's going to keep that edge flow kind of clean for me. So that's something I kind of want going on, is to have that shape still being kind of continuous there. Pull you up a little bit. And now I'm going to pull out on this shape here. Kind of see what's happening there. We're getting that like tapering going. Let's see if we can. Maybe this is better. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Kind of play with that curve happening there. Almost. I think I need to shrink just a little bit more. I want this tip to be a lot sharper. There we go. I think that works for me. Once again, it doesn't look too curvy right now, but it will when we get that deformer going. Snap those vertices together. This is definitely going to need to soften up a little bit. So I may actually need like just a little tiny bevel on the tip here. You generally don't want things to point out too much, okay? There has to be a tiny little area where we get a little bit of bevel action happening. If you go for full tip, then it's not going to soften very well. Screw this up here. A little bit of a tip in there, and start widening it out, because this really stops being a cutting edge in this area. So actually, I might keep this thing from being too. I don't really want some long triangles in here, so let's try something like this, and let's start adding topology that's going to round this shape out here. You know, something I like to do actually is I like to put like a holding edge in some area. Put a triangle that's going to break like an edge loop. Actually, no, let's undo some of this. I'm gonna put a holding edge in here. This is me adding geometry that's going to round out too. So I'm going to put like an edge loop between this and do like a multi-cut here that adds a triangle. And what that's going to do is when I add an edge loop here, when I do my insert edge loop with that roundness, it's going to not go to that triangle. So since that's an n-gon there, it's like, no, I'm not gonna give you an edge loop there. That's gonna help me round that out a little bit. Start adding my topology that way. I can delete this guy now and just put my triangle over here. Just let it end that way instead. So now I'm starting to round this thing out from that sharp point. Okay, and I can drag this out a little bit more now. Kind of set it up the way that I want to. We can scale it down so that way it follows with the edge flow there. I realize this is just like dragging out really long. I said I was going to give you guys like UVs and stuff today. It happens. Try to get this edge to work a little bit better though. We want this geometry to match up just a little bit closer here. Yeah, it takes time. I'll do some baking tomorrow. If we'll do some UVing and baking tomorrow if you guys are in attendance. Tomorrow's not a Zoom lecture, but I can make it a Zoom if nobody shows up for Hangouts. It's not as successful as it once was, so we can set this thing up like a Zoom and I can record it instead. I'll give you guys a new link for that. Okay, and we can do that same kind of thing here, but we already have like geometry set up, so let me just snap these guys in place because we're pretty much doing this. We're doing this thing. Now let's part the difference here. I can start collapsing things down this way. You know, I may actually just delete a little bit of these edge loops because it may just be overdoing things a little bit. That's actually what I'm gonna do. I think this guy is a little bit needless. We're gonna have to have some edge loops in here, truthfully. Try to find some happy mediums in here, I would say. Put some edge loops. They're gonna make sense, they're gonna be worth our time. This geometry is gonna have a dead end over here eventually, so, you know, why not just have some kind of stuff in here? But kind of work with some of these things, put some triangles in here now. Getting these things kind of reduced down. I'm definitely going to collapse a lot of that stuff together. Yeah, and I realized, Anastasia, like last time you were kind of trying to join. I saw you trying to join, but it wasn't really working. Might just abandon that, or I just do it on Twitch. Usually where I go to afterwards, so I don't want to like advertise this stuff to you guys though. I don't want to, you know, seem like I'm dragging that kind of stuff out. I think I need another triangle going this way, so I'm kind of forcing it to triangulate the way that I want it to. Sometimes these things do not triangulate the right way. You gotta come in and do some of that stuff. Alright, so we're connected over over here. I'm gonna grab some of these guys, like every other edge loop, and we'll see if we can't collapse that stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to do. Let me collapse some of this stuff down. Triangles. Actually, before I do that, I think I would like to have an edge loop coming down the middle here. It's kind of lined up. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pull this in very lightly. And that's going to give this thing just a little bit of a tip and a little bit of a cutting edge there, where we just get that little tiny depression in there. And that's also going to help me save this model from some really long triangles too. So we'll see how this works. So now that I did that, that's going to help these triangles be not so intense. It's a happy birthday song. Yeah. It pops up like once a week. Just collapse these guys together. I'm just grabbing geometry here and collapsing it. You know, that way, you know, I don't have all this stuff going on here. I think I'm pretty locked into where we are with these guys, so I'm gonna grab this edge loop here, try to even it out just a little bit, and then we can bridge this gap here. Oh, I don't have an edge loop over here though. I need to, there we go. Need to get one more edge loop over here. That might or might not be too helpful. We'll see. Kind of push it down just a little bit, get a little bit of deformation in there, make it worth your time. If you're gonna have geometry there, let it do something. Bridge? Ooh, oh, okay, it bridged the wrong way. Let's just do one at a time then. And I got an extra little face in there that I can just fill in. Fill the hole. Bridge. Fill the hole. Deleting some history here. And we could do the same thing over here, where we just kind of grab these areas and bridge them across. Just to start setting our shapes up here. Now this should be the area where we're flattening out, so we're still getting some of that flatness going on there, which is really important. Sometimes if you have faces that are next to each other, try to bridge them together. Sometimes there are gaps that happen with the bridge tool. That's one of the downsides of bridge. So if you can do it all together, I'm just gonna fill a hole here, and we'll triangulate, you know, what's happening. Truthfully, we also have edge loops that are coming this way as well, so let's try to do something like this here too. Now, we are still going to reduce some of that down, but you know, let's take advantage of those opportunities too. Just put a triangle right there too. Okay. Yeah. It's pretty. I don't know how many of you guys pull inspiration from people who are doing artwork. Let me try poking this face. Let's see what that looks like. That's a lot. So yeah, poking. Not too awesome there. Let me try something here. Let me try. I don't know. I don't know what to do from this point because it seems a little excessive. Bring like another triangle down here in the middle. Let's see what we can do. Make like a division like this. You want this stuff to kind of fall off really softly. We don't want too much going on here. We'll do some stuff like this here. We start to bring these triangles in. Let me try this. Just let it disperse. And this guy can come over here. Same thing over here, where we just kind of send it, make a little V shape there. See what this looks like. Take the wireframe off. Alright, oof. What's going on with that stuff? Some of this stuff is a little lumpy, the way that I made it. That's kind of what I'm talking about there, where you may want to have some shapes that are doing I wonder if maybe these holding edges here, if I put some holding edges on this, if that might just cure things. We'll see. And that got rid of a little bit of that lumpiness. I'm obviously gonna have to like control it a little bit better though. Before I triangulate this stuff, I should have set that up a little bit better. And this piece over here I just haven't even done yet. I'm gonna forget how I modeled this thing probably. But we get it though. I mean, something a little bit along those lines there. I don't really like the dip that I put in this, so I'm gonna try to fix this. Try to soften some of these guys out. You don't want to leave like those harsh angles in there. Yeah, I usually go by Harvey. soften this up, 3-mode it, see what happens, right? Okay, so, I mean, it's obviously going to require a little bit of cleanup in here. I can kind of do some of that stuff by myself. Maybe I can, you know, some of these edge loops here may be pretty useful for holding edges. So some of this stuff you may just want to continue on. Make it useful in other ways. Obviously, you know, once again, I'm not modeling with my blend on, so get a blend on these things so we can see that surface change. That's going to be the important part for that. I don't know if I really want to even just keep these guys there. I feel like I think I just used too much geometry for this blade. Causing more harm than good. You know, the 3-mode smoothing operation is going to do its job and smooth it out for the high res. I'm gonna try to save my geometry here for something that matters. I'll put like a holding edge over here to get like that sharp cutoff. Side. Let me slide this guy in just a little bit and make him my holding edge. Slide it up. That. And now, you know, I'm seeing and using my topology in a better way for a better purpose here. Now I got like a little bit of an edge there to work with. Absolutely, you guys are more than welcome to come pick my brain on my outside hours. I'm working on a Borderlands style character as well, so if that interests you, feel free to pop into those. Now I'm just going to come through here and just collapse these edges. Other Matt is very interested. Yeah, I've posted links up there in Discord for that. Not really a prop person. I'm just gonna model one side of this blade. I'll probably just mirror it anyways. Let's just make this simple, right? Okay, I want to get to my grand finale here of this bend deformer, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I will mirror this guy later. History. There we go. Alright, so let's get to that bend deformer, shall we? I'll duplicate this blade for my high res too, because I currently don't have a high res version of the blade. But you know what? They're so similar, I don't really have to have them separated. Some shapes are going to be hunky-dory, for you to take a game res and make it a high res. And some shapes are not. Like obviously, I'm not going to take these weavings and make that a game res. That's a little bit hard. Yeah, Gearbox was on campus and they showed me some things, so that's what I have to offer here. Let me, so we have these guys together. Let me save this before I do anything crazy. Just save it over what I already have. And then I'm going to do a deformer here. Deform. Nonlinear bend. Okay, so you see it there. And let's just bend this thing out. Yeah! No, wrong direction. That's the sword I want right there. Katana, done. Yeah, we could do the brass hilt too. It's kind of a straight shape, so you know, you see the way that this thing is bending. You're gonna have like a mildly flat area in the middle anyway, so I'm not really gonna worry about that right now. You got the idea of this thing though, right? I just wanted to get to this conclusion before I moved on. We'll work on that stuff. Grab these shapes and delete the history, and that should get rid of the deformer, and all this stuff will stay locked in. So we have a little bit of bending on the handle, a little bit less than we used to have actually. But you know what? The handle's probably not going to bend too much. But at least it's got the flow there, right? So that's the low res, and this will be the high res. Pretty slick, sis. Cool. So I'm going to end this lecture here, so we're not going too high and heavy on things. Okay? We'll continue this onwards. I'm going to put a stop to this. I might do some streaming later today. Not on this one, but we'll keep this model going for tomorrow. If that's cool with you guys. If there are other questions and demonstrations that you want me to do, then let me know, okay? This is not something that's priority. It's just a way for me to keep this kind of tutorial going so I can make it one of my model tutorials. Sound good with everybody? I'm going to stop the recording here.